In this video, everything you need to know about holidays in Santa Ponsa. If you haven't booked yet, this is also a great video to see if Santa Ponsa is actually the right holiday destination for you in Mallorca or not, and also a great way to see what to expect. Also in this video, some easy tips to make your holiday even better, some ways to save you loads of money, and as well some things to watch out for and a few small warnings. Santa Ponsa has one large white sandy beach right in the center of the resort. Since this is kinda in a small bay, most of the times the waves are very shallow, so ideal for families with small kids. One of the things that is a little bit annoying, it's not really such a big problem, but it's a little bit annoying, is that this is one of the beaches on Mallorca with a road next to it. Even though you really don't notice it that much, it still takes away a little bit from the relaxing vibe. If you want to do some snorkeling, there is a small walking trail on the right of the beach where you will find little places to swim and explore on the rocks. So each time I travel to Mallorca, I visit loads of hotels. I think I've been to nearly 250 or 300 hotels now in total to figure out what is really going on there. Because in 1 in 3 cases, what you find online really ain't the way you find it in real life. The hotels you're seeing now, by the way, on your screen are great hotels you can book if you're looking for great value for money based on my own experience of visiting them. If you're not sure which one of these hotels is right for you, or if you want my second opinion on one of the hotels, kind of you've already pre-selected before booking it, you can always get in contact with me through my website, or you can email me directly on this email address. I always try to reply within 24 hours, but quite often while I'm traveling and filming, I cannot. And also recently I've been getting so many requests, it sometimes takes me a little bit longer. This is a completely free service I give to you, so please have a little bit of patience. I will get back to you always. There are a few nice bars and pubs in Santa Ponsa that are open quite late, as well as some nice cocktail places, but not really any clubbing. Since Magaluf is not too far away, I would advise to visit Magaluf one night if you want to do some serious clubbing. Santa Ponsa is pretty family friendly and for this reason becomes pretty quiet after midnight. So Santa Ponsa is kind of like a medium distance, I would call it, from the airport. It's not one of the resorts that is far away or close by. It's kind of like somewhere in the middle. I have a separate video discussing all the different options for you to get there, with the pros and the cons and the prices and the time. So if you haven't made any arrangements, please have a look in that video where I explain all the different options to get to Santa Ponsa. So Mallorca is a very nice place, and I really don't want to sound too negative. However, from the people who follow my channel and also from my own experience, there is a few things in Mallorca I want to warn you about, because simply a lot of people have negative experiences with it because they were not informed and because they did not know. So in this next part, 3 quick warnings when going to Mallorca. If you find a flyer on the street offering some kind of excursions, or you're handed by someone a flyer in the street, then do not go on these kind of excursions. There's always some kind of unpleasant catch, no matter how good the deal may sound. The most common is that you will have to go to some kind of sales presentation where they will sell you all kinds of random products. This can also be about timeshare, or sometimes you just have to wait for a long time at some kind of overpriced restaurant in the middle of nowhere where you will have to spend your money. On number 2, this is about the illegal sales that are happening on the beaches and in the streets of Mallorca. Since from now on you yourself can be fined anywhere from 100 to 750 euros if you buy anything from them, or if you take one of the massages or do the hair braiding, selling fruits or drinks on the beach. Any of these, if you partake in them, you can be fined up to 750 euros. This is a new law since July 2018 to combat these things that have been really getting out of hand and have been getting a lot of complaints by many of the tourists coming to Mallorca. Since finding the people doing so far has proven little successful, now the government has been deciding to do it for both the people buying and the people selling. So be aware, you can get a huge fine if you partake in any of these activities. Number 3, this is with regards to car rental, and most likely one of the practices that irritates me the most in Mallorca. Be very careful with renting a car because of all the hidden costs. Most people working in car rental companies now are not working in customer service, but in pure commission-based sales. So they will sell you loads of things like extra insurances, extra by giving you confusing and incorrect information to get their sales commission and targets. And like with everything, there are good companies and there are bad companies. I explain this topic more in a separate video of mine, and also have links on my website to the companies I use. So I just want to quickly repeat, Mallorca is a very nice place. Don't be put off now that you are informed and you know about these things. I'm sure you will have a great holiday in Mallorca. So this next tip is a little bit of a cheeky one, but most of the information out there is basically meant to sell you a specific holiday or a specific hotel or a specific destination. If you want great advice about hundreds of destinations in Spain and also other places, that is advice specifically for you, not to sell you something, but specifically for you to have a great holiday, then don't forget to click the subscribe button so you can find all my videos covering Mallorca, about 100 videos covering Mallorca, and also all these other places even more easy. Restaurants in Santa Ponsa you will have plenty of choice of, ranging from fast food to some really nice steakhouses. There are no real nice restaurants next to the beach, but if you go exploring a little bit on the rocky areas next to the sea, you will find some really nice restaurants right next to the sea, with a great setting and a brilliant sunset in this area. So in your hotel, should you be getting all-inclusive, half-board or nothing at all? Well, this depends a lot on what you like on holiday. One thing I do want to say to you is that in Mallorca, a lot of the receptions, you can also book the half-board, the all-inclusive or nothing at all. You can book it there as well in the reception. Why would you want to do this? Well, if you book it together with your hotel, you're normally covered for the entire week. But if you want to go, by example, on an excursion, this might not be the best thing. So in the reception, you can say, okay, I want Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, but Saturday and Sunday I don't want because I want to go on a trip, by example. Also, if you want to eat out one night, you want to try a restaurant like near the beach or something, you can also kind of leave this day open. Also, it's a little bit cheaper. It's about, from my experience and from the things I've been seeing, it's about 20-30% cheaper if you book it in the hotel reception. So keep this in mind. It's up to you if you want half board or all inclusive, but keep in mind all these things might be a good reason to book it in the hotel reception. So when is the right time for you to visit Mallorca? Well, in this next part, a quick guide to when and when not to visit, so you know when to book. And if you've already booked, this is also a great way to know what to expect and how to prepare for it. January, February and March, these months in Mallorca is very popular with athletes who come to Mallorca to train, as there will be very little people on the island around this time and therefore many empty roads to use for the cyclists. Also, the weather around this time is mostly kind of mild compared to some other colder European countries. It's also for this reason that a lot of retired people come to Mallorca around this time, especially from the colder, more Scandinavian countries, as accommodation is very cheap and the climate is, as I said, nice and mild. Do know that most hotels, bars and restaurants might be closed still around this time. So April is the first month kind of the year that the weather starts to change a little bit and more hotels, bars and restaurants start to open. This depends a lot on what month and week the Easter holidays fall into. Most of the time this is not really beach or pool weather just yet, but prices outside of the Easter holidays are on the cheaper side and might be worth taking a little risk. Make sure always to bring a sweater and some longer clothing, especially for during the evenings. May is normally one of the first real months for Mallorca. Also, it has the better weather starting to come around, and normally all the hotels have opened at this time, especially when you look more towards the middle of May. The same also counts for all the restaurants, bars and excursions start to open at this time of year. June, July and August are the months with the best weather. If you really want the best weather and you want to spend most of the time at the beach or at the pool, then these are the best months for you. Personally, I think normally August kind of gets a little bit too hot for me, but I really think that's a personal thing and most people might disagree with me. If you are looking for the best months, price, quality, weather-wise, then June and September normally are the best. October is very much like May, but with the added benefit that the pool and seawater is already a bit warmer compared to May normally from being after the summer. But do know that the weather is quite unpredictable and it starts to cool down, especially for the evenings. Just to make sure, bring a sweater and some long clothing as you might or may not need it. In November and December, there is not so many people on Mallorca. It's very much like January, February and March. It's mostly people coming here to train and to do sports, and the retired people coming to look for the more quiet and mild climate. So if you're sure that this destination is right for you, know you can get in contact with me on my email address, and there we can figure out together what is the right hotel for you. If you're not sure, then have a look at this video where I explain all the different resorts in Mallorca and you can choose there.